What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SUI today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, my friends. Let's talk about it. So here we are, sitting at about $3.05. If we take the high, this kind of central high, which, by the way, SUI did not exist back here, right? It didn't have any existence. There's nothing going on back there. But what it came into existence with was a very nice Eve and Adam double bottom pattern, which is just crazy. You don't normally see Eve and Adams or Adam and Eves. This could even be an Adam and Adam, to be completely fair, which Adam, in any pattern that ends on an Adam, a V-shaped recovery, they tend to be very bullish, very explosive. And that makes sense why you saw this bullish move. Adam and Eves, Eve and Adams, Adam and Adams. Anything with an atom at the end, it tends to be the most bullish. The most bullish is an atom and atom, and this arguably could be, actually, that pattern. But it's a very nice pattern. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm getting hung up because I appreciate patterns. I see you, SUI. I like what you're doing here. It's not a bad look at all. From a high to a low, you went all the way up. You fell just shy, and make no mistake that you did fall just shy of your golden ratio here, right? The 1.618 extension. The reason why you fell just shy, and in fact, this should have been an indication that you would go below the 1272. Whenever you fall just shy of the 1618, that means there's so much selling pressure or there's not enough buying pressure, whatever you want to say, to get to your expected target. Someone is front running this. There's probably a lot of selling. Most of the time when you miss a target like that, it's so obvious. I'm not the only person that sees this, right? There's plenty of people that have access to the same tools I do, and they see this stuff. It's beyond an obvious target to stop at. Right, trading algorithms, trading bots, they use this stuff as well. Yeah, you didn't stop at this 1618. It's nowhere there, so it would make sense that it'd be relevant to this here. Falling just shy of your 1618 likely does bring you below your 1272. You would almost always go back to your 100 to your 886 area. The fact that you didn't is actually a bullish thing. It's actually a bullish thing. Yes, while it's not ideal to go back below your 1272 after getting above it like this, while it's not ideal, especially when you're this high up, it's actually very ideal that you didn't even hit your 100 level. You didn't even hit this area here. So that's nice. That's definitely nice. I do not expect that low there is at $2.40. You're at $3.06 now. I don't expect that you go below that. I really do think that was a fake out kind of scam wick. It'd be nice if in the next 7 hours and 50 minutes, if you could actually close this week green, if you could get it to where you're not closing below the 1272, it would make anything below the 1272 just seem like false price action, which is actually a really bullish thing, right? Again, you have this expectation to hit the 1618, but you don't. You front run it. That's a very bearish thing, promotes selling. And then you're supposed to go below this line, but as soon as you go below it, it gets eaten up. That actually would say, hey, there's a really bullish thing going on. There's front running going on the selling side, but there's also front running going on the buying side. And I think there is. I think there's definitely interest in this token so far. We look at the weekly RSI. Weekly RSI has cooled way the hell off, man. Way the hell off. You are so far down. Look at how much lower you are than this low here. I'm gonna change the color of this. I don't know why it keeps going back, man. I don't know why. I gotta fix that. I'm just gonna save it right now. We'll click save. Try me now, SUI. Orange on purple stands out more than purple on purple, right? You're lower than this low in your weekly RSI, that low that you had in October 2024. You are higher in price than that low there. What you have is hidden bullish divergence, right? Let me offer it. Let me explain this in a kind of way that makes sense. So from here, you moved up all the way over here, right? You moved from your low at about 58 all the way up to about 82 in the RSI, okay? And the move that ensued was as follows, right? It was from a low here to this high. That was the move that followed right there. You saw 146% when bouncing off of this high, right? You got overbought. Anytime you get overbought, you're probably coming to the end of your up move, or at least you should be thinking about that, right? If you sell at the first moment of getting overbought, you're going to miss it, right? Because here you got overbought in September, but you only got out of the overbought zone in December. You know, if you sold in September, you're missing this whole move. So don't treat the overbought zone as a selling area. I'm just saying when you get overbought, it's time to start considering where you might be selling, right? You started from this area and got to this considering selling area in a very short amount of time, and you saw a move that was 146% in like a matter of weeks. What are you going to see with this? What are you going to see when you're cooled way the hell off? You don't even have to go as high as these readings. You can see something like this, but what are you going to see growth-wise with that? I would assume something that takes you to new all-time highs. If we take the all-time high now and we put it at that low, a move to about $6.67, $8.81, potentially higher than that, you could see deeper extensions. You could go to your $11, $20 zone. That could happen as well. But that's your next move. That's your next move. Okay. And I want to do this. I want to actually do this in a way that we can all see this. It's kind of a very I don't know what to say, elementary way of portraying this information. Let's do it real quick. Okay. So if I take I'm not even going to do that on a fib. We're just going to draw this from a low to a high. Okay, move up. And maybe that's not even appropriate. Maybe I should do from this low here to this high. That's one move. And then you consolidated this low to this high. That's another move. This low to this high was a move in itself, and you started to consolidate. I don't know. How would I define this move as an end? I suppose I'd go all the way up here. That's your move. So here's your moves. Here's SUI during its bull cycle. Here's its moves. Okay. This is its bull cycle moves. From this low, are you going to make the smallest move of the bull cycle so far? I mean, if you did, that would be a double top. That'd be pretty bad. So, I mean, maybe it's possible. You could do that, right? Would it be something more on par with this move? Would it be something more on par with this move? If we were just moving at the same kind of pace that we've seen from the lows happen before, you know, that could put SUI at prices that are about $7, just below $8, $7.80 by the end of this month in February, or at the very beginning of March, maybe even sometime in April at that rate. Could we see a faster pace of growth? Could it pick up? You know, that's possible too. Oftentimes, as we go further in the bull cycle, right? And I'm going to take the charts away. You can look at any chart. You can look at Bitcoin. You can look at the total market cap chart, whatever. Anything in crypto. The strongest moves, generally, not always, but the strongest moves, they generally happen at the end of the cycle. The cycle progressively gets stronger for the average crypto. SUI might not be the average coin. It might have its own things going for it, but let's pretend that it behaves like the average coin. It might only get stronger. So comparing these moves as a standard, I think, is appropriate, but as a maximum is not appropriate. It could go higher, and it likely does, okay? But a move like that, sometime in March, likely, you'd be probably around 780, just above the 14114 here at about 745. So something below $8 would be what we'd expect. Just because it goes there, does that mean that you're stopping? No, because again, both of these moves here, both of these white lines, they're part of this overall greater move here. So does that mean you stop in March? Maybe you take a couple weeks off or a few weeks off, and then you continue moving up in April, May, June, whatever. But certainly I would expect, even if you do find turbulence here at 745 SUI or around there, 745, 878, if you find turbulence in this area, I would suspect it doesn't stop there. It does continue to grow higher, and likely the consolidation phase you experience at these levels will be shorter lived than the consolidation phase we've been in since the beginning of December, or is that the end of December? I'm sorry, the beginning of January. It'll be a shorter lived phase is what my assumption is. Okay, so if you were to see a stronger move, which you could see a stronger move, I don't think seeing something all the way up here would be acceptable to consider. I mean, maybe it's possible, but something that's a little bit stronger than these moves would make sense. So I'm going to call for SUI. You're at $3.06 now, $3.07 essentially. I'm going to call for it to go above 745, but to not go above $8.78. I do think you hit your 1618. I do think you actually get up there because, again, I'm assuming you get a stronger move. And this I would anticipate would happen by the end of March. Sometime maybe in the middle of March, if not the end of March would be my expectation. It depends on when we get going and how fast we get going, but this is your next move. This is your next move. You're at $3 now, and I'm telling you this thing's going to more than double likely from here, okay? Now, as far as end of the cycle predictions go, we're in a whole different ballpark because SUI, this is its first bull cycle. And I have a problem. I genuinely have a problem with calling for any crypto going to a market cap that's anywhere near $100 billion or let alone above it during its first bull cycle. Why do I have a problem with that? That's because XRP and Ethereum, those are the only two cryptos that attained a over $100 billion market cap in their first cycle. They're the only two to do it. Is SUI and XRP or Ethereum? I think it wants to be, but is it? I don't know, right? It seems like there's a lot of hype around SUI. It seems like it's got potential. And you guys are going to hear me say something now that I genuinely have never said in this channel's existence. But I think out of any of the coins that this is their first cycle, SUI might be the only one that sees an over $100 billion market cap. I'm not expecting that it does. That's not me saying that I expect it to. In fact, I would expect, if I had to be very clear, that SUI does not get a over $100 billion market cap, and it falls probably somewhere to an $80 to $100 billion, somewhere in that range, but not 100 billion. What that would imply is that SUI doesn't even have a 10x left in its cycle to go. SUI will not go above $30. That's what that would imply. And this is where the cycle high gets tricky, because I could see that happening. In fact, that's the statistics would agree. They would side on my side that you do not go above $30 SUI. You very likely do not go above 30. If you go above 30, it's like $30.06, $30.60. It's not going to be anything crazy, right? But being that this is SUI, being that, you know, everybody wants to think their crypto is special, and that makes them all the same, because you think they're special and they're not. They're just all the same, really, at the end of the day. Could this one actually be special? Could there be something to it that deserves an over $100 billion market cap? I suppose it's possible. If there was one coin to a credit for that kind of level, I think SUI could be at that level. From a fib perspective, the only thing, and in fact, right there, man, your 2618's at $26. I don't know, man. I feel like that's your end of cycle right there. I think you go up here to this area, probably end of March. Then you consolidate, and then, you know, April, May, June, you go up here, consolidate again, and then end of year, you're going up here. Boom, that's your top, and then that's the end of the cycle. I feel like that gives you enough time to reach that, right? And off of the growth that we've seen so far for SUI, it makes sense to me that you would grow maybe like that. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you go faster, but 2678 seems like a good doable cycle ending high. If you go any higher than that, the highest that I would give you, SUI, would be $40.58 to $57.70. Okay, that's the highest I would give you, and that is extremely generous. I just did something right there that I've never done in the history of this channel, that I've never done in the history of my own analysis, and that is call for a coin during its first bull cycle to see a market cap that is above $100 billion. If you're hearing me say $40 to $57 and you're thinking that's too bearish, you don't even know, man, it's going to be worth hundreds of dollars, you don't even know, man, you're too crazy, because this is crazy. It literally is crazy. If you don't think it's crazy, I'm going to take a wild guess and assume this is your first cycle too, right? I'm just going to assume. Or maybe you know something that neither of us know, and in which case, or not that neither of us know, maybe you know something that I don't know, and in which case, please share in the comments. Tell me your insider information. Why is SUI going to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars? Certainly, if it breaks above 100, I don't expect it to break above 200. Just saying. So if it breaks above 100, it makes sense that your maximum potential would be less than 60, because again, 30 is about 100, 60 would be about 200. So personally, I think this is a good range for your end of cycle stuff for SUI. Okay. Pessimistically, the most pessimistic I could possibly be, 1563. You're at $3 now, so that's only a 5x. Not impressive at all. You could probably put money in USDT and get a higher APY. No, probably not. But still, it's not that impressive, right? A 5x. You're not in crypto for a 5x. You're in crypto for 50x, for 100x, for 30x at least, right? But SUI at a minimum would be about, and probably even expected target would be at about an 8 to 9x at the end of the cycle. The most bullish I could possibly be would take you to a 13 to an 18x. The most bullish I could possibly be is an 18x, okay? 18x. And I want to offer this perspective to end the video. Okay. I like SUI. I meant everything I've said so far in the video, but this is going to paint it in a little bit of a different light, okay? This is the other chart. This is what the average crypto is doing essentially, right? If you look at the monthly basis, it says down 20.6%. I would assume the average crypto outside the top 10 is probably down about 20.6%. That's probably what that means. Not every coin, but the average coin, right? Some are up more, some are up, some are down more, some are down, right? Some are exactly at this area or just roughly around it, but this is the average altcoin chart, okay? So essentially, if I take a high to low fib here, and I project out from this price, if I measure from this market cap here to where I suspect that this market cap will inevitably go by the end of the cycle, which is all the way up at this 2272. I actually think that it's going to go, this is a whole different form of analysis, but this is from a different video, okay? I know I'm doing it short here. You just got to trust me. I firmly believe, more than just the fact that there's a line here, I've done analysis and I've got plenty of reasons why I expect that we'll go there, but I'm not going to do that in this video. This is a SUI video. I firmly believe that the average coin from its current price will grow to, the average altcoin market cap, the others will literally go up to about $6 trillion. From its current valuation, that is a 22x. Why would I invest in a coin like this if at its maximum, as bullishly ridiculous as I can be, potential, it sees an 18x, where the average coin will see something that's greater than that on average. That's not the minimum expectation. That's not the maximum expectation. That's the average expectation. Okay. Why would I invest in something like this, right? Personally, I like it. I think it's bullish. I think there's a lot of good things that are going to come from SUI, and I think that it's got a very large amount of integration to be had in this crypto space. It's done a lot for itself. It's made a name for itself, but it's too high. It's too high in market cap, man. It's a phenomenal looking chart. It's going to grow. There's no doubt in my mind. It's probably one of the safer bets in crypto. It probably genuinely is. And it's one of the only coins that it's the only coin I've ever called for to see an over $100 billion market cap in its first cycle. That should say in itself how bullish I am on SUI. But in comparison to the rest of the markets, it doesn't entice me at all. And it shouldn't entice you. If you're holding SUI, that's a different story. If you're holding it, fine, do your thing, right? Do your thing. I'm not telling anybody to sell. I'm not telling anybody to buy, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want. I certainly am not buying here. I don't think it's worth it. I think there are other coins that will blow up more in a shorter amount of time, right? We're expecting this thing to probably go to around $8, right? That was like the call. That's about 160% move. I think the average altcoin by the end of March is going to move up to this 1272. That's a 220% move. SUI is very likely going to underperform the average altcoin. And we can actually see that one more way here. SUI USD versus others. We can compare it right here. We do that here. And you can see, if we're looking at it on a weekly, oh, you don't get the RSI. Maybe we have to do others versus SUI. Others to SUI. If this chart is bullish, that's a bad thing for SUI. Or it just implies that the average altcoin will outperform it, okay, if it's bullish. If it's bearish, then SUI is going to outperform the average altcoin. So obviously, bearish, SUI was outperforming. Now it seems to be turning the tide. I changed it so that we could get the weekly RSI here. You have bullish divergence on the weekly RSI. Higher lows with lower lows. To me, at least on a weekly perspective, which implies that the weeks and the months to come, SUI would likely get outperformed by others. Because again, this chart moving up means others is outperforming SUI. If that's the truth, and that's what it looks like it is on the charts here, if that's what it looks to be, even just for a multi-week or multi-month period, then at least some of what I've said is true. If this is a low, though, for the cycle for SUI versus others, if this is the low, if SUI can't go lower versus others than this, then that literally accurately depicts everything that I've said, which is that SUI will get outperformed by the average altcoin for the rest of the market. And that's what this chart will do. It'll just continue to go up, and that's what I expect. So I got nothing else for you guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.